Hello, everyone. Coach Reslow here from Resv Systems. Videos for parents and fans. Hope you guys are having a great uh, week thus far, and also we're about halfway through the high school season, so a lot of good stuff has happened, and we've seen some good volleyball. And I figured I'd do a quick video, just going over some more basics of the game. And this time, what I would do is I'll you share my screen and get you some stuff to look at. So right now, you should be able to see my screen, and what we're looking at is we're looking at the East Providence and Barrington game last night. So from here, one of the first things I want to talk about is, the positions on the floor. So the first thing to note is that we'll talk about the left side of the floor here. You can see my cursor. So the floor is made up of six spots: one, two, three, four, five, and six. And you can see that in this situation, East Providence is about to serve. So they're going to serve, and they have their blockers set up. And what you'll note is that we have two outside hitters. There's one, and then there's the other, probably this guy right here. We have two middles. There's one middle, and then the other middle is off the floor, and usually the libero serving, or if it's the middle serving, can't tell at the moment, but we'll start in a little bit. Then we have our setter and our right side, and they're going to serve. And let's see what happens here. So we'll serve. That looks like a middle serving. Yep. So that's one of the middles. And then we'll pause right before he gets going. Here you'll see that on the receiving side, three people are back in serve receive. The libero's one. Now, the libero is a player that has a different color jersey. They usually sub in for the middles. And the libero can sub in freely. You'll note that as you've watched throughout the season thus far, whenever someone wants to sub in, they have to go to the substitution zone and they get that sub and they come into the play. Liberos don't have to do that. They can sub freely for anybody in the back row, but generally they're used for the middles. You'll see that also the outside hitters tend to be the passers. So we have O1 here and O2 right here. Setters right there in the front. And then we have a middle and an opposite in the back. So the opposites in the back row, setters front row. And you can also note that these are the 10-foot lines. And if you're going to attack from the 10-foot lines, you have to jump from behind it. Same with the service line. You got to jump from behind the service line to serve. And what we'll do is we'll see how this serve comes here. You can see he jumps and he actually lands right in front of the line. You don't have to. You can jump and land in the court. You just have to make sure when you jump, both feet are behind the line and then you make contact. Good pass. Ball's in the center. They run the middle. Dig. Counter coming. So I like to pause the video oftentimes when the setter has the ball because I like to see approaches. And so when I say approach, you have to get far back and then make your approach. Let's see where he goes. He goes to the outside, takes a rip, and scores. So the net is 7 feet 11 and 5/8, I believe, height. So basically 8 feet. And we try to get a double block wherever you can. And these are all things I'm sure you've seen as the season has gone thus far. Another good pass from the outside. They run the middle again, and this time it sneaks through and gets past. And there you can see right there that the middle comes out, the libero comes in. They don't have to go to the sub pattern or the sub zone, as they say. Let's see. Serve, pass, run the middle, but nobody's there, and that's a side. That's a side. That's a traditional point. Traditional point is when you serve. Side out is when you break serve. So the next time that East Providence scores, here comes the serve again. Oop, it's an ace. Goes off his platform and skids out of bounds. And you can see the sign that was given was a touch sign, which means the ball hit the player and then went out of bounds. If the ball hits the floor inside any of the playing surface, it would just be an in sign. Overpass. And that time it's in point. And then oh no, they're calling over. Let's find out what that was about. I think that was a back row attacker. And that's that where if you're in the back row, you have to be behind this line. So that's the side out. They got the side out, the person serving. That ball barely missed. Barely missed. Now, if it hits any part of if the ball hits any part of the line, it's in. But it was out by maybe an inch. I mean, there wasn't much there. It's a good serve. I like those types of serves that are right on the border because it makes the player have to think about it. Tough pass, overpass, dig. Oh, they're gonna call bad hands on the second touch. So that's something to talk about a little bit as the footage continues to roll. On a second touch, mainly the setter's going to play that ball. It has to come out clean, and you want the ball to come in and out at the same speed, and you don't want the ball to change directions. And certainly that ball there, that was a bang bang play. It was off a dig, setter to turn and chuck it. And clearly, in the official's opinion, that was not good enough, and that was going to be a fault. Now we're calling a timeout. So let's move along a little bit more here. Serve. Good pass. You can use your hands to pass in the middle, dig by the outside, and then a joust. And this middle beats this middle. So you note that everyone rotates clockwise, and you'll note that everyone's got to be in a specific position. They can't overlap each other. So, for example, see if I can get a good one here as the libero serves. Pass, going to be an overpass. Yeah. It stayed in, but the setter couldn't get it. So, for example, let's say this guy is your left back. No, excuse me, that would be the right back. This guy is going to be your right back, and this guy's your right front. Let's say that's the same. That's where they belong. So, the right front guy can move all the way back, but he can't go behind the right back guy. So, the further he moves back, this guy always has to be behind him, and vice versa. Let's say this guy wants to move up. He can go as far up as he wants to, as long as he doesn't go in front of the right front guy. And the same thing goes for left to right. So let's say we want this guy to pass. We want to put him in the center of the court. You can move him over, but he can't go past this guy because he's on his left. So he would have to continue to move over as well. Can't have him on this side, and vice versa on this side. If he wants to come to his right, he can stay in there, but he can't go past his right back teammate because then you're out of rotation and you're overlapping, and that's why you'll get that call from time to time. And that's just an example. I don't know for specific where these guys are lined up at the moment. They're just in serve receive. If I had to guess, I would think that the outside hitter is in the front row, but again, we're just making an example. Yep, he is in the front row. He goes outside, takes a big rip off the block, and it finds the floor. So you can send 2 blockers, you can send 3 blockers. Both are preferable to just 1 or open or no blockers. No blockers. Outside hitter's going to have a very good chance of scoring. Pass. The right side, set over. Oh, they're going to call a lift. So this official is being pretty strict with the hands, which you'll get from time to time. And again, there is a little bit of a hold there, but I didn't think it was too bad. Might be because of where his body was set. Good block. Again, you can see the sign. If it goes off the blocker and goes out of bounds, it's a touch sign. Is this guy. And if it's off the blocker or off anybody into the ground, you're just pointing at the floor. That's your floor in sign. A ball served underneath the net, automatic fault. And the ball can touch the net all the time. Off a serve, it can grab the net. You can pass it into the net. The only thing is that you only have 3 touches to get it back over to the other side, and you can't touch the net. The net is off limits to all players. Jump topspin, tough pass, setter plays it. Surprised he didn't call hands. He's called it on the other times. Nope, not that time. Right side. Big, kept alive. Goes outside of the pin. Pin tips over the block. Dug. Wow. Keeping it alive. Great play by the libero. Now, the libero can swing at the ball there, but he can't jump. He's got to stay below the net. And he did so there and got it to go, which is why that scored. And anytime there's something going on with a shoe tie or something like that, the officials will wait, give you a break, as they should. All right, jump top spin one more time. Oh, into the net. So again, going over a couple of things as the game goes forward, just to talk it over, to give some examples for you. Hopefully it helps a little. Certainly, it's not as specific of videos I've done in the past to give some help, but figured as the match goes on, I would discuss a little bit some of the signals, what the positions look like on the floor, go over some other tidbits as we go through. Right now, looks like East Providence is down 15-19 in the second set. See the beckon for serve. We're going to go to the right side. He goes right through the block into the 5. So again, the floor positions: 1 is here, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. It would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I wish I had like a telestrator. Maybe that's the next thing I'll invest in. Get a telestrator, and I can write everything down. Now that ball doesn't clear. So because he hit it into the net and it didn't touch the block, and then it came down, he touched it again, it's considered 4 hits, and that's why all the referees signal 4. Top spin, overpass, Doug, Doug again. A lot of standing around, which I don't like. I would be moving, really try to terminate that overpass. And then the outside hitter gets a swing into 6 and scores. So most attacks and most serves go to 6, which is why you'll see most coaches in serve receive and in defense have one of their better defensive players over there. Good pass, tight, run the middle, and he gets through right into that 0. So again, if you talk about the positions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there's a spot right in the middle that most coaches call 0. The spot where a lot of people like to put a tip or a roll shot. And you sort of have to defend it with an all-out dive, or reading the player, seeing that he's not going to take a swing and jumping into that zone. Don't know what was going on there. Official had something to talk about with the coach. Now here comes the serve. It's 22-16 Barrington, as Providence misses the serve long. Got a couple more points here, and then we'll end the video. Certainly, if you have any questions, always feel free to reach out to me at scott.reslow@protonmail.com. I'm here to answer questions. Ooh, that ball sails way long. Yeah, it signals the 2-arm thing. Bring it up like this. 2 arms, it's out. See anything else that's worth. Oh, let's talk about the antenna real quick. Final thing. So there's 2 antenna on the net, and anything that touches the antenna ends the rally and it's out of bounds. So if the ball touches the antenna, if a player touches the antenna during play, it's considered out of bounds, and the ball is dead, and the opposite team gets the point. Looks like there's some rotation issues. So the coach can ask the official, who's my next servers? Can you put me in rotation? And oftentimes the referees will help put them in rotation. And that question is, hey, who's my next server? I'm just trying to figure it out, and they'll try to help you there. Looks like that's sort of what happened. So set point for Barrington. And on contact, you can see here East Providence is going to remove these 2 guys, which you can do. You can, on contact, you can go to a different spot. Let's see. Jump top spin. Good pass by the lib, going to the middle. No, it's a miss, but the lib covered. Great stuff by the libero. They go to the opposite, and the block is true with the outside and the middle. So that's how Barrington won set 2. So that's a quick little commentary on second half of a set. Hope you found it useful and helpful. Again, always feel free to reach out to scott.reslow@protonmail.com, and I can answer questions about the game and all sorts of things. Hope your day's going well. Enjoy the rest of it, and I'm looking forward to finishing out the week strong and seeing where we are with the rankings. It's been a cool first half of the season. I'm really excited for what the second half is going to bring. So stay well, everybody, and we'll talk soon.